Well, good morning, and here we are on our third Sunday of Advent as we move through this experience of spiritual preparation. That's really what Advent's all about. Spiritual preparation for the birth of that greater realization of that divine potential within you, that Christ light within you. And we had this last few weeks, we started with faith. And it all starts with faith because that's our power. That is the power within you that helps you move through life. It's the energy that we express through life, that we take hold of substance, as Charles Fillmore would say. And it's with a mighty faith that we unfold that greater realization of that unique divine potential, because each of us is unique. Yes? Each of us has their own flavor, their own spark, their own goodness to share with the world. And so each of us is so important for our experience in life. Each of us is so important for each other. And so when we take hold of that faith, that energy within us that helps us move through life, then we can be that expression, a greater expression of that potentiality. Paul talked about faith as the substance of things hoped for. The substance. We really take hold of the substance of the universe and create through our faith. That goes well beyond belief. It goes well beyond our limited beliefs, right? It's that power within us that even if we don't see the future, even if we can't see what's out there, it's that knowing that if I just keep moving in this direction with spirit, allowing that energy to flow, that I will be moving in the right direction. So faith is really the energy and how we get stuff done. Do you want me to repeat that so you can write it down and tweet that later? It's the energy for how we get stuff done. So we stepped into that mighty faith, and we affirmed that mighty faith within us. And then the next step in Advent is peace. And it's cultivating a peaceful heart. And the affirmation that we had was centered in my divinity. My heart overflows with peace. And I am a peaceful presence. I am a peaceful presence. Would you affirm that with me together? I am a peaceful presence. And peace begins, of course, by calming the discordant thoughts that are in our minds. All of those thoughts of the past, all of those fears and thoughts about the discordant thoughts about our environment or our situations or our relationships. It's just, first we need to quiet those thoughts in our mind so that our heart can be open for that peace and we can feel that peace within our heart. And so we cultivated this last week that idea of quieting those discordant thoughts and recognizing ego as our evolving oneness. That's the part of us that's still evolving, that's still growing. You know, I had some wonderful emails and conversations this last week. You know, one person sent me an email saying, thank you so much for this talk because it reminded me that I'm living in the past. All of these discordant thoughts were things from the past that I'm bringing back up again. And I'm here's a new word, Elisa, post-suffering. Because it happened in the past, and I'm post-suffering. It's done. And yet I keep bringing up that suffering. So it's recognizing to let go and release of those thoughts, those discordant thoughts about the past. And in that space, affirm the truth of who we are. Affirm the truth of that divine potential. And we don't need to, look at it from, the grand scheme of what's divinity. It's so big. Just feeling the peace in our hearts. Feeling a little love and compassion within us. That creates that environment of peace in our environment and in our relationships. And it has to come from within. It has to come from within. And it's that being willing to let go and allowing that consciousness that we're all one. We're all one in this universe, in these situations, in this environment with each other. We're all part of this allness of life. That's my favorite word for God is the allness. The allness of life, love, and wisdom, that we're in it. And then we come to our third week, and the third week is love. And my favorite scripture, God is love. God is love. God is love. It's one of the most powerful, attributes that we talk about God. And I don't use the word God very much because it brings to my mind that being in the sky that we all grew up with, right? That separateness from us. So I use words like love or divine intelligence or the allness so that we can have a deeper understanding of that which is ever present, that which is the allness of life. How can you define the allness of life in a single word? So I love spirit, the energy and flow of this divine intelligence. All of these different words. And divine love is one of my favorites because it resonates with me so much. And so today we're beginning to align ourselves with the empowering energy of love. And it is an energy. It is a movement, an activity that happens within us that's always available to us, this idea of divine love. I'd like to bring in Charles Fillmore, one of the co-founders of the Unity Movement. In the Revealing Word, he defined love as the pure essence of being. The pure essence of being that binds together the whole human family. I mean, that's a great example of oneness, that pure essence of being that binds us all together, that brings us together in community, that holds us together during times of strife, that guides us when we need to be guided, that energy of love. And it's an attracting energy. It's an attracting principle. It attracts us to our good. It attracts us to our good. Now, sometimes we talk about the law of attraction as we're drawing things to us, but I really think it's us opening the path and drawing ourselves to our good. Because we have to move our feet. We have to keep moving and express that energy and be empowered by that energy of love. So it draws us forward. Charles Fillmore continues, of all of the attributes of God, love is undoubtedly the most beautiful. Anybody not like love? Yeah, it's that energy that we experience when we have a relationship, when we have, that feeling of accomplishment. It's that energy that draws us together to be one in a spiritual community, one in a family, one in however you want to call it, but it's that energy that brings us all together, that lifts us up out of our funk. That's another spiritual term. You can look it up. I don't think Charles Fillmore defined it. It wasn't in the Bible as far as I know, but metaphysically, we all know what our funk is, right? And we have that funk, and love is the energy that lifts us out of it. Now, sometimes we place it outside of ourselves, right? Sometimes we place it in our partners or our friends. Somebody's got to help me. Or we place it in great music that lifts us up or gets us going. But it's really, what we're experiencing out there is the frequency that's already within us, and we're just aligning ourselves to it. So it really is coming from within us. We might experience God's love as that warm presence that wraps around us during times of need. That, at times it's like, I don't know what's going on, so I let go and I let God. And that divine love is that feeling of that warm presence that guides us along the way. And that warm fatherly figure, motherly figure, that warm, friend who comes along, but it's that presence that we sense in the world. Charles Fillmore goes on to say, in divine mind, love is the power that joins and binds in divine harmony the universe and everything in it. That binds and joins the universe and everything in it. It binds us together. So it's a principle that connects us, that binds us together, that binds us to our thoughts. So what happens if we're holding thoughts of resentment? What are we binding ourselves to? What happens if we have judgmental thoughts about someone else? We have some unforgiveness about someone else. We talk about unforgiveness as, I think it's Catherine Ponder, one of my favorite Unity ministers, who talks about, when you have unforgiveness, you are literally chaining yourself to that other person. They're going to be in your life forever. And you're going to be post-suffering because of that unforgiveness that we're holding on to. So love allows us to take off the chains, to love ourselves enough, to heal ourselves enough so that we can love someone else. And it's not, divine love is not a schmaltzy, romantic love, though that's one of the expressions. That's how the ego kind of filters it sometimes, right? But divine love is unconditional. That love of God is unconditional, and it's always within you. Always within you. And when you're hit rock bottom, you think, how did I get here? Well, it's God, that divine love that's keeping you from going even lower. And that's the idea of grace, is grace lifts us beyond that law of cause and effect. Grace lifts us out of the judgments that we're creating in our lives. And divine love is that energy that lifts us up. And so we have a choice of how we look at life. We can look at it through the lens of judgment, or if you're going somewhere. Anybody going somewhere after this? No, you're all going to stay here? Awesome. I'm not going to be here. I've got to take my wife to the airport, but you're all welcome to stay here if you'd like. I think you're all going somewhere, right? You have an idea of where you're going after this? You have an idea of what you're going to do this coming week? How much of that idea is based on pre-suffering? How much of that idea is based on the fears, the anxieties, the judgments that you have about what's coming up this week? That's what you're binding yourself to. And we all know this is true, right? We go into a party and, so-and-so is going to be there, and so-and-so is going to, do something that ticks me off, and I'm just waiting for it. And it's like, okay, here it comes. There it is. All right, I was right. Because we're waiting for it. We're predisposing ourselves to finding it. And if it doesn't come, guess what we do? Subconsciously, we go and start poking people until it comes. Okay, now I feel better. Because that's what ego does. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It tries to prove itself right. Those false beliefs that we hold will do everything it can to prove itself right. So if we let go of that, we went back to faith. We went back to, in the face of not knowing, in the face of the evidence of everything to the contrary, of knowing that I am loved. I am the expression of love. I am the harmony that's here in the universe. And so we have the choice of which thoughts we will choose, those discordant thoughts or thoughts that are harmonious. Fillmore finishes that by saying, it is the great harmonizing principle known. It is the great harmonizing principle. So love is an attracting principle that attracts us to things and people and objects and what we're looking for and desiring in life. Love is a binding principle that connects us to one another, for better or for worse. And love is also the healing principle, the harmonizing principle, the energy that flows through us to heal all of those discordant thoughts. But if you're pre-suffering, it's pretty hard to get there, isn't it? So we go back to faith, we go back to peace, to establish connection, and then we can be that expression of love, that healing, harmonizing energy. That healing energy that flows through every cell in your body. That healing energy that helps every cell know its divine purpose. That healing energy that creates harmonious relationships with one another. And that inspires us to do good things, to do good works. And so the final principle is the demonstration of love with intention. Because we all demonstrate it, but how often are we doing it on purpose? How often are we allowing it to simply flow with intention, saying this is the path I'm going to take? So this week I invite you to have an intention about how you will express that harmony in the world. Have an intention as you go into your week as you leave this place, right? By being whatever you're going to go into, by bringing that harmony within your heart and allowing that harmony to express with you. Is everyone in? All right, we've got about 50%. That's pretty good. You know, the early adopters are only 15%, so I figure we're getting going. Yeah. So we had a great experience of love this past week. Felix, would you show us the picture? This was the pictures, some pictures that Frank took from our toy drive on Monday. I'd like to invite Margot to come out here. Look at all the toys that you brought, all the joy, all the love that you brought into expression. Margot, would you tell us a little bit about what's happening?
Well, thank you again. Thank you. The toys, you popped a lot of hearts. People were oh man. Anyway, the toys we took them already to the primary school, which is in East Palo Alto. And I wish I would have had some more pictures and that little video for you. I could bring it next time, or send it. They cried. They couldn't believe it. They were just like, what? Oh my gosh, all these toys? It was really cool. A lot of people gave gift cards and to like Target. And there's a lot of families that needed that bad. So we had about 15 cards. And so they were just so happy. And you really did do a really great thing. So, and I'm truly grateful, and I love doing it every year. And we had some kids here, and they had a ball, and they thought they were on TV. And they had a few things to say the day after. They were so excited, and they were like, we were on TV? And I was like, well...
Sure.
Adorbs. But they want to come back and do the toy drive again next year. They were so excited. So I'm really grateful for letting this happen every year when we can do it. So thank you again.
Thank you, Margot. So what an incredible expression of love, right? The people, there were toys lined up in the back, and someone asked if they can still bring toys, and they can still bring toys, yes. There are a few other organizations that we can go to as well. And so feel free to bring those in. And a big thank you to Margot. This is her brainchild. To, let's see, Rick Vanderveer was here. David was here on bass guitar. Ronnie Beck was here. And thank you to Polo for making the sound all work. And an incredible expression of love. So the question is, what will you do? What will you do this week to express love? How will you allow that divine energy to flow through you? How will it show up in you? And it can show up everywhere. It doesn't have to be something monumentous like putting on a toy drive. It can be something that's just, a smile or a thank you or a card or something to brighten someone's day. How will you express and let that energy of love flow through you this week? Love empowers our best work. Love empowers releasing and letting go. Have you heard the phrase, let go and let God? You can't do that unless you're willing to let go and love. Allow that love to to flow into you. It's already there. Recognize that love is flowing in you. Having a greater realization of that experience. Love empowers healing. Healing of the heart, healing of the mind, healing of the body. Love empowers healing of the relationship, healing of the world. It is that powerful energy. And I think, one of my favorite definitions of love that I just can't do justice to, so I'm going to ask her to do it for us. This is Dr. Maya Angelou and Oprah from 2013. You can find that video online. Just search Oprah and Maya Angelou and love, and you'll find it. It moves me every time I see it. A deep, profound love. A deep, profound love that goes beyond anything we know or understand. And it's always there, unconditionally. All we need to do is allow it and align with it and express it. For that's what we are here to do. If God is love and you are the expression of that divine essence, then you are love. You are love in expression. And you are here to express that love, to allow that energy to flow through you in beautiful, miraculous ways.